Okay.
Going ones here in town.
Yeah.
You a new commissioner?
Huh?
You a new commissioner?
No, absolutely not.
What do you do?
Deputy Chief.
Oh,
Joe's not here, so.
my name's Rich.
Chris Little.
I'm the business reporter. Went back to the New Sun in April. I was also there from
Okay.
You said Joseph, right?
No, Chris Little. Joe is the chief of police, I'm the deputy chief of police. Whenever he's out.
Been here a while.
Yeah. 19 years, 8 months.
Wow. So it must not be bad place work.
No, not good. Hasn't been for me. You know, everybody's had his ups and downs.
Good, how are you?
Did you want to be a policeman when you were young?
Driving right worst part. Really? Bring me my trophy. Bring me my trophy.
Isn't it?
I'm doing good, how about yourself?
One of them got in trouble. He went to federal prison for years. It's actually wrote a book that was coming out.
But now you're
He's in the book.
had a question.
Oh, yes. From like first chapter about Adam.
Okay.
The other guy,
Pretty long.
yeah, he worked as a policeman for about 15 years. And now he's
If you're on the diet, I'm sorry.
Is that, was it on, she said it earlier?
Yeah,
9 days.
Oh, it was,
That's
yeah.
you.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, we're gonna give everybody sugar rush so they can just arrive at the meeting.
He'll bump.
Either sugar rush or diabetes.
No, I well, the girls are both, yeah.
major character.
Yes, sir.
How are you? ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias a Dios.
Something about tacos at your house later?
She was supposed to bring them down.
I don't cook. Taco truck.
Can you make sure that it's working?
Yeah, please. I ordered Chinese steak out all the time.
Don't be eating those sweets. You're hyper enough when you sit up there. You don't need nothing else.
I got a feeling.
Eat all the sweets. Armado. All day back there.
What?
I made the snacks. I baked all day today.
Really? These are awesome. I give them dollars.
Really? I got those at Dollar General Market. I shop local.
That's true. I'm sure they're taking one.
King Jackson.
What's up? He's good. Good.
How are you?
Yeah, how are you? He just burned the brain cells. Yeah, he was supposed to burn in 60.
Larry said, Larry said, I went and visited him, I said, it's like they were 1,222.
South China.
So,
Went over there because people are getting into things, right? Kids.
Let me get a check. I need to wait.
It's at, you know where Chavis is? So yeah, on the south side of the K.
Yes, sir. Good, good. I'm doing very well. How are you this evening?
They were agree on it. Yeah, cars there too.
How are you?
It's tripping water. There are the tools that we had to take.
I got my it was still pretty, I moved it out. He
we got just enough dew with all the.
See.
I gotta see if it'll go with that. You better take yours.
Got it.
What is, what is?
Let's bring it.
Yeah.
I do.
So what we got here? Anything?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really, that.
Oh, you did? Something to figure it out?
I said you make Commissioner Gandy.
I was gonna order pizza. You didn't let
I'm
me.
doing very well. He didn't let you?
He didn't let me.
We're on a budget here, sir.
We're on.
I forgot he was right here over here trying to tell you not How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Yeah.
Just gotta watch her with the credit card. He'd be in that decision-making process.
There was so much.
Hey, how are you? No, they just come through, there's just an interstate trucker that come through town. They are on right-hand turn down here on Money.
Oh, it's a C.
So it's $45.
Yeah.
Ryan, we had to sign that paper about just.
Yeah.
Doing it, because we can figure it out. We did it once, and we didn't have to have a lawyer. We just
Yeah.
had to do trials. That's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Any attorney would make that call. We'll call the officer, make sure she's not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really not bad. I mean, did you run into anybody?
No, he never read. She just said,
Ice cream stop.
that's what I'm gonna have to talk to her, see what the kind of thing is.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he's got a problem with it.
Because I was asking too, I'm like, hey, I'm pretty safe. Still good, but how are you? I don't know how it wasn't.
I'm gonna go on the air one second.
I don't think.
Oh, yeah. It's not on? No, I can never tell it. It's like heat wave.
I think it's a good idea.
Good every once in a while. All right, let's go, even if we lose. I would visit with her.
That's what I was talking about.
It was all here.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
That's a reason. She does a really good job.
Come in town this way, this sign, I'm seeing, it's a little bitty sign. Yeah. It's either turns into one of them. You come in, puts her station around. There's a lot. There's a lot. It could be on.
So that's the only thing is.
Yes, it
Really
is.
blue here. I'm just like, no, catch out everything.
Signs built with this not permanent signs and moving.
Drinking up the
I'd be good and say.
Yeah, you have to probably use the price line.
Who's got it? It is.
We got,
location.
we got the MDD.
I forgot to call you this. Both
But
locations.
they're all down there, they have a headphone button that they use
No, I
to
think
put in
that-
those storage parts.
You
want that
Yeah.
So,
Like, she said, and I was like, you seriously don't know? She goes, are you at the county or what?
to order the,
Like, no, this wife is Lovington. But she
that's
like
right.
looked me all up
so
and
we might have to
down.
order that.
She thinks she is.
Or if we need them really
You
fast,
review it.
I think we can
Don't
buy
have
the
to.
dollars.
She said, no,
Give you.
no.
Right. How much do they cost?
What are you doing?
Oh, okay. So yeah,
Mine's on the island of everybody. This is the year I should be increasing my new
Because
program.
I've been there.
And I told her 3 years ago I was gonna make a basketball game, and 3 years I'll be my new boyfriend.
Well, she's tomorrow.
It's because you said.
Buy some, like,
And the city council.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
exactly.
because I'm not. No,
Thank you.
my new boyfriend in Greece.
I did that for you.
I know.
Because I said it before.
Oh, that's true. And you're right.
I don't know what it's
Love you. You have to say it all crappy. Love you. You say it all crappy.
This is the way I say it. I don't know what everybody else.
I didn't do it this time. I did. I gave you guys pictures.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Maybe not.
What's that?
Did you make pictures of fire trucks? Remember I used to tell you that? Put it on fire trucks and lose these cars.
Well,
Take that UTV.
it doesn't matter. It's a discussion here, not there.
No, but they're gonna bring us some presentation.
Take it off. We don't need to argue.
Take it off.
Something in front of us.
I love this. This is downstairs. I like this part. It makes my heart happy.
They're basically showing where they started, how much they spent.
Tell you I'm dying and you say we have snacks. Like that'll get the factor over here. Sugar.
It always seems to be we have a time change, and the first day we have to come straight to
Oh, yeah, I just love that. I think Miranda probably prays every
Make Dean Jackson. Good job. Dean Jackson.
They're impressive. I didn't say they're right.
Brother Dave, you want to pray? You don't have to. I have one. I'm just asking. Do you want to pray?
I'm not gonna lie to everybody.
I have one.
Well, why not?
I just asked you.
There's just some people here. If you weren't.
It'll be heard for sure.
Yeah.
I bumped into your truck. I see your truck. Oh, okay. Yeah, good. Like, comes down the street. Well, I didn't show up at church on Sunday. Do you want me to, or are you gonna do it?
Well, you because there's so many people.
Okay.
I mean, you're loud.
Just, take this out of the plastic.
You can get to I didn't want to professional. I can totally do it.
We know you can do it. You didn't call him in. You just recruited him from the stands.
So, just so we can sure, we're falling off the right.
Yeah, there you
The
go.
one that's what did you say? That's You ready?
This time. Hang on. Yeah. Okay. I should take this out of here. Well, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
see that one, so I don't.
We got somebody coming in.
That's all right,
All right. I call this meeting of the Lovington City Commission to order. My goodness. Nice crowd tonight. Shannon, roll call, please.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes, here.
Mayor Roberts?
Here.
Commissioner Gandy?
Here.
Commissioner Bowe?
Here.
Commissioner White?
Here.
All right, so join us in our invocation. Commissioner White.
I asked Brother Dave to pray for us.
Okay. Will you pray with me? Our dear kind and precious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather together as a community so that we might take care of the business of our community. And I just pray that you'd be with us in this time together. Most of all, dear Lord, I just pray that you would be bless each and every person here in their lives, that you would watch out over them, keep them safe. And I just ask now as we proceed with the meeting that you would do great and mighty things in our lives. Proceed with kindness, civility, and understanding. I just ask that you would be with each one of our city commissioners, give them wisdom, insight, and understanding. And we thank you for all those who serve in our community, in our county, and in our city. We just ask these things, dear Lord, in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Join us in the pledge.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. You may be seated. And we're off. Here we go. Caught back up. Where is I'm sorry?
It's in the wrong place.
Oh, sometimes we get them wrong.
Okay, just making sure.
Oh, mine's right.
Okay, this was just kind of coming first. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to approve the agenda as submitted, except for the non-action item, the discussion of the ATV/UTVs on city streets, which I despise. That Mr. Trio, Commissioner Trio wanted to speak about. Can remove that from discussion for a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda with this item removed. Any further discussion, additions, or corrections? Hearing none. Shannon?
Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe?
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy?
Yes. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for considerations of the minutes of February 24th, 2025 as submitted.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for adoption of the minutes. Any corrections, additions, discussion? Hearing none. Shannon?
Commissioner Gandy?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe?
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
All right. All right. At this time, if I could have Mr. Jackson, our esteemed ex-commissioner of the county, former ex-commissioner. Is that what I get to call all my wives?
Former wife. They live in Texas.
All right. Good evening, sir. Brought in that crowd. All right. Exactly. Mr. Jackson, first of all, as Mayor of Lovington, I want to congratulate you on the years of service that you have provided to Lee County. I would like to, the right word, condemn you for giving me a call 3 years or so ago and asking me to do the same for the city of Lovington. But anyway, it's been a pleasure to work with you, and we appreciate, as the city of Lovington, all of the things that you have done for our city. And you've been a great, as a commissioner, you've been a great partner to the city of Lovington. We appreciate the things that you brought before the county. We're able to partner with the county with us by convincing your group that it would be a good cause. And again, just giving 8 years of your life. Oh, I mean, excuse me, 38 years of your life in this cause. So, the city of Lovington would like to present this to you, and for those present, it is presented to Dean Jackson, a recognition of his 8 years of service as Lee County District 1 Commissioner
from January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2024, and his steadfast commitment to the citizens of Lovington. The city of Lovington honors him and his service in making our community a better place to live, work, and play. And I'd like to, everybody, just give him a round of applause. Mr. Jackson and his successor as county commissioner, again, made a call to me a little over 3 years ago and said, we think that you should do this. And if I've been smart, I would ignore that phone call and many other ones after that. But,
Thank him for this, huh?
what's that?
We can thank him for this.
Yeah, you can. But anyway, it has been a true honor to serve with you, and the city of Lovington owes you much more than we can repay you. But anyway, you've been my mentor, even though you're not really my elder. You've been my mentor, and I always had somebody I knew I could call, and that means a lot because we cannot do anything by ourselves. We cannot do anything without God's help, for sure. And I think that God placed you in that place during that time period, and I think it was a great choice. So anyway, you're just a great friend, and I can't say enough that would give the honors upon you that the city would love to, and the right word.
Bestow.
Bestow, yeah, thank you, upon you. But anyway, enough for me.
Speech.
I
think he needs to say something.
He's got to say something. I'm going to go sit down. You can spend as long as you want right there.
3 minutes or less, please.
Well, any of you that know me know I don't make speeches. I've been very fortunate and blessed to be able to serve Lee County for the past 8 years. And serving Lee County, you serve the municipalities. I've always tried to be fair from jowl to table. Of course, Lovington is my hometown. And yes, Commissioner Deanne and I both requested Robbie to run, and we're glad he did, and Liz also. Without good leaders, the county, the city, nothing, the state, the country cannot prosper. And I believe we're on the right track in every government entity. Maybe the state could use a little help, but we're working on it. So thank y'all. I want to thank every citizen of Lovington and every citizen of Lee County. I really appreciate this, and hold her feet to the fire.
Oh, never a doubt.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. I do appreciate everyone that came to support Dean. I know that there's been other times that he's already had that, and it just goes to show that we do care, that the citizens that are here do care how you did your job, and that they're supportive. And there's always other opportunities down the road. So what are you going to do? Just make a couple pairs of boots?
I'm just going to make some boots.
Just make some boots, huh? Well, we do appreciate you so much.
Booze or boots?
Well, you never, hey, we'll just take it.
Just check it. Then
That's
they'll
right.
be expanding his boot store there.
That's right. All right. Commissioner, anybody, I'm sorry, I kind of took everybody, anybody that wants to say anything is welcome. Anybody from the audience that would like to say anything, you're certainly welcome before we move on. Nobody's jumping up, so we're going to move on. All right, brings us to our commissioners and staff report. Ms. Shannon.
Just one thing, and I think around April the 14th, I will present, we'll have a public hearing for a license application by El Grejo. And so we'll be presenting that. It's pretty standard. We know the location's good, we've done this a number of times there.
I have a little history with that, so.
Yes, yeah. That's all.
All right, thank you. Isabel?
Yes, sir. This Thursday, just wanted to invite the community out to Coffee with First Responders. City Hall will be hosting that, so we'll be here. So it'll be this Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30 in the morning. They're all invited.
Awesome. Thank you, appreciate that.
That's it.
What is your official title? I forget.
Deputy Chief of Police.
Deputy, I'm
Yes, sir.
sorry, Deputy Chief.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for filling in for the chief today.
No problem. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. For the month of February, we have our activity shown to be 881 calls of service, 14 of those were self-initiated, 129 citations issued, which I don't believe that includes warning citations, that's just actual citations. 31 arrests. Code enforcement had 343 calls for service with 6 warnings issued and 337 code citations issued. We hired 2 uncertified officers to the force. We have 2 more uncertified in the process, and we have 2 certified officers in the hiring process as well. We do have an ongoing investigation when an individual in Lovington was shot. He did survive. With the assistance of Lee County Sheriff's Department, we were able to detain the individual that was suspected of the shooting. It's still ongoing. That's as much as we have at this time. This March 29th, Laces will present their 12th annual celebration of Light Up Blue. We will have a booth out there, among others having a booth out there, and it'll be 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Lee County Fairgrounds, so hope to see a lot of y'all there. The police department awning and emergency building project is ongoing, and we should be submitting an RFP in the next couple of weeks. And that is what I have to report, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Questions, commissioners? All right, good job, we appreciate you filling in this evening.
No problem.
All right, Fire Chief.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, so we as well have hired one new employee. He is uncertified. His first day technically was today, but he won't start shift until Wednesday. We have the flooring in Station 1 has been complete, so all that's done, and like the police department, we're waiting for the RFP to get the rest of our money spent from the capital outlay. We've received both EMS transport vans, so we do have those in. We have to get radios and the cot head loads and all that stuff, of course, installed and get them ready to go. But before we put them in rotation, we will have a viewing for everybody to come and look at them. Our numbers for February are as follows. EMS calls, we had 187. Total inter-facility transfers, 49. Refusal cancel DOA, we had 41. 15 airport transfers, 8 total calls, and 11 fires. So that's all I have to report on this thing.
Commissioners. I'm gonna step back to Deputy Chief, please. I'm sorry, I meant to ask you, with all of the recruits that you have in the system right now, how are we on staffing?
We are at 19 at the moment,
Okay.
with one possibly leaving to another department by the end of the month. And so if we pick up the other 2 non-certified, that'll put us back up to 20. And if for whatever reason the 2 certified work out, then we'll be up to 22, and that's still 2 or 3 short of being fully staffed.
What I was thinking.
Well, not exactly fully staffed. Fully legitimately staffed is 28, which those were taken from us during COVID. So fully staffed now is about 24.
All right, thank you. All right, Commissioner Bowe.
Yes, thank you all for being here. We appreciate you taking time out. Congratulations, Commissioner Jackson. I know you're hiding back there in the crowd, but thank you very much for everything you've done. Greatly appreciated. Again, I always put out there, shop local, buy local, eat local. take care of the local businesses. They're important. They're important for our community, that we get out there and support them. This week, weather-wise, it's going to get windy. Wednesday, Thursday, really bad Friday. So I just advise people to tie things down, make sure everything is down. We don't need stuff blown in the streets or up in the lines, and, you know, just take the time out to make sure everything's fastened down, because it's going to get really windy. I don't want anybody getting hurt, so I appreciate that. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Trio, no? Commissioner White?
I'm good, but I'll add pick your chains up on trailers to what he said.
Oh, yeah, sparking.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Commissioner Gandy?
Let me work through something in my head right quick, so, because that was dismissed, so I really did rant on that. Other than that, thank you, Mr. Jackson, we appreciate everything, and other than that, I don't have anything.
All right, thank you, sir. What's
Good
it?
evening.
Good evening.
I gave you all the reports I made for the best I could do.
Financial.
I hope that you guys were able to look through them. But I know y'all probably have questions. I was going to address them when we do the presentation.
We'll do it, yeah.
Mr. Guerrero.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sounds,
That's it.
all right, thank you. Questions before we move on? Yeah. All right. City Manager?
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, an update on the Seawalt House that was discussed at the last meeting. Investigation revealed that the Marjorie S. Waits Trust, which the property would revert back to, was dissolved over 20 years ago. I have notified one of the heirs who was interested in reacquiring the property. I believe she's here tonight. So that threw a little wrinkle into the plans, but we're at a pause. I have advised the city attorney. Update on the baby box, which was also discussed last time. Since the last meeting, we have secured state funding from DFA for $10,000 towards the $25,000 cost. Chamber has pledged $5,000, and County Commissioner for District 1, Deanne Kimbrough, has indicated that she might be willing to fund the remaining $10,000, subject to County Commission approval. So we are theoretically fully funded for the baby box. We would potentially bring this item before you for consideration as an action item at the April 14th City Commission meeting. In your packets, which you received last week, I included the proposed adjustments to penalty assessments administered by our city court. This included both an across-the-board minimum assessment as well as increases for specific quality of life and nuisance ordinance violations and some traffic offenses such as loud mufflers. These suggestions were through the police chief, code enforcement officer, Judge Owens, and myself. We didn't get them done in time to make it a discussion item for this meeting, but it will be put on as a discussion item for our next meeting. Also delivered in your packets was departmental budget updates as requested by Commissioner Bolt. Ed Fiora will also address the commission in discussion about our financials and the status of our audit preparation. I just want to throw this chart on the screen. The City Commission has tasked code enforcement with really cracking down on quality of life offenses, and I believe these statistics show that they have. And that includes things like semis, junked vehicles, and trash. So just a shout out to the Code Enforcement Division for really stepping up the progress to make this city a better place to live. Lastly, I wanted to ask Ms. Navarrete to update the commission in regards to the finance director search. And after that, I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
All right. Sarah?
So we have two really good candidates that we're looking to schedule for interviews probably later this week. I've got a panel of 6 interviewers with a couple of outside sources that have expertise in the financial field. So starting radio ads tomorrow for the remaining other 5 open positions we have as well, and including the finance director. So the finance director is going to be running twice in the morning, twice in the evening during drive times, and then they're going to run that for the month until we place the position. And then the general one, I've got it set for 6 months, but if we fill our positions, then I can always shut that down earlier. So be happy to. We got a lot of internet on Indeed. We had 37 hits on all of our positions opening. We had actually 5 of the 2 that we got, only 5 of them were out of the Indeed applications that we got. So, any questions I can answer?
As far as radio, where's it reaching to?
It's reaching, we've got country, we've got 4 stations. I printed it off and it didn't come off in time, so. There's KZOR, Kicks 103.
105.1, which is
Yeah, 105.
Ian's Breakfast Club.
And then KZOR, KEJL, KLEA. So, those would be the 4.
So,
Rock 12,
right.
Hobbs.
Roswell, Hobbs, Redoso, and
Yeah, definitely Redoso.
All right, thank you. Questions for Mr. Miranda? Getting off easier so far.
Thank you. That is, yeah.
That is exactly. Ms. Ball.
Evening, Mayor, Commissioners. So the streets have been blocked at Jackson, West Jackson Avenue from 9th to 13th. That's where we're going to start the first phase of this job that's going to happen all the way to 17th. Did receive quite a few phone calls today. But where I'm also working with Waste Management on where people can put their trash cans. They are going to have to walk them to the end of the blocks to place them. So I will have a map generated by in the morning to post on the city website to show those people where they can take their trash cans. That work?
Don't ask us.
I mean, how else do you want me to advertise it? Because
no,
it's really the best thing I could do is just have them put it on Facebook, our city Facebook page, and just kind of put a blast out there.
Yeah. This is not going to be a fun project.
Crystal, if we get
I know,
called,
right?
if we get called, Crystal, who's the contact person? You just
Me.
tell them. Okay.
Bring the tomatoes to her office. It's going to be a difficult project. I know it's going to impact a lot of people. And
But it's going to be a nice street when we're done.
we keep saying that about Main Street too, so.
But this one's not going to take 4 years.
Okay, thank goodness. From your mouth to whoever needs to hear.
I'm talking about 4 months.
All right.
So, you know.
That's what the first project was. That was the first project, 400 days.
They're still
Yeah.
saying they're going to be done mid-April on Main
Ooh,
Street.
Yeah.
And start their bid.
that was November. Yeah, they said November.
No,
And then December.
mid-April or 1st of May, they're going to be done.
Oh, there's been some.
Weather permitting is what I'm always told.
Yeah.
It hasn't rained or flooded.
It's funny when they give you those dates, I always say weather permitting.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
Any questions? Commissioner Bowe?
Yes, Crystal, you made a comment that they're looking to be done with the Main Street come April?
Mid-April,
Mid-April.
1st of May.
Okay. So my question is, as far as our portion of that we have to pay back,
We have 4 years from the final date of construction completion to pay that back.
and how much money are we looking at?
Oh, it was 1 point something?
1.3.
Yeah, like that. I was like, I hadn't looked at that number in a while. I know he still has it on his mind for the budget.
If we had a
And the other thing, we know that Albertsons is, that they're groundbreaking in that. When are they looking to do any road work over there?
So we're actually still, the road work should start pretty soon, right? That one's set to start here in the next few weeks, right?
Yes.
The actual groundbreaking for Albertsons, we're going to the state about some EV chargers. The state has a new requirement, and they were gonna have to put in 16 EV chargers. And that's, I don't think we have that many electric cars in the city. They don't mind putting in a few, but they don't wanna have to put in, that's a big financial,
Right.
that's a lot more money than they were expecting. They were expecting to put in 2 to 4. So we're working with the state to try to get that, a variance through the state for them to not have to put in all 16. Because I think it was 16 to 18 that they were gonna have to put in.
Right.
And so their permits are being held up a little bit because of that.
So how is that gonna affect traffic flow at all? Coming in there when they start doing the road work?
So when they do the road work, it will go down to 1 lane
Right.
on the side of the shoulder they're working on, but then there will be a time when both lanes will only be one because they gotta push out and do some median work. But there'll always be at least 1 lane open.
Right, and the reason I'm putting this out there is that we can let people know, we're gonna advertise beforehand, give
Okay.
people plenty of time so that they're aware of what's gonna be going on in the area.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just gonna say it. I think that's a great idea, just like our signs that say no trucks, no turn downtown. And apparently, we still have people that can't either see the sign or read the sign. I don't know which. That was the greatest thing I watched the other day. So, it was pretty awesome.
I understand, but we still have to try.
No, and I applaud you for going forward. I just, the lunacy of people that. Move on, please.
All right, moving on.
I will get with Ramirez and Sons, they're doing that. I'll get with them and get some for sure dates so we can have plenty of time to get something out about that.
Thank you.
Counselor?
Mayor and Commissioners, had an opportunity to visit with the city manager briefly about the Waits Seawall House. And so the fact that the trust isn't in existence presents a small problem, but there are some ways around to get that fixed. And so I'll visit with David, get with one of the heirs, and we can, kind of visit about some of the options and then get back with the city. So hopefully we can do it as quickly, efficiently as possible and make sure it gets back to the people that were intended to receive that benefit, which would namely be the beneficiaries under that trust. So that's the plan, so that's what we're shooting for. So then I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have.
Commissioner Trio.
Patrick, the other day I was thinking about it, I said, does a historical site, is that a historical site? That's the only thing I was worried about is that, was that marked as a historical site? And
I don't think it's on the historic registry. There'd be other types of signage that would identify it as historic registry, so I don't think so, but I'll take a look at it and see, but I think we'd still be okay.
Okay.
I hear none. All right, moving along then. This brings us to our public comment. We always are happy to have members of our community to come forward and discuss whatever you would like us to hear. We ask that you come to the podium. Please state your name, otherwise you'll get stopped and we'll have to do it. And then tell us what you'd like us to hear. Don't be all running. Ms. Hossel, go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Claire Hossel. I'm the director of the Lovington Chamber. Mayor, commissioners. Today we are putting on the biggest event for the chamber is the 4th of July party in the park. This year is actually going to be the 49th year for the lizard race. So next year will be 50. What I'm coming about is with lodger's tax, we requested, and what we received was for the advertising, for the radio and the newspaper. We do have other things that we do advertise with, t-shirts, banners, mail outs. I figured it up, another $4,600 that's not covered by what they did give us. Last year, we made sure that we had paid by lodger's tax on everything that we did out there. With what's just paying for the newspaper and the radio, there's not going to be anything at the park that actually says paid by lodger's tax. But I am asking if there is any way that we can get additional funds for the party on the park this year. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Claire, and the number you're looking for?
We got 13,000 last year, so that's kind of what I'm looking for again this year.
Okay, because
I did ask for more. We were told to put the tent and everything on there, which we'll try to get a sponsor for that tent, because that tent's $3,500 for the lizard race. It's just the chamber can't afford all of the things that So with that, you know,
Okay, so the alternative right here, it said plan was 11,900, so you're asking for what?
they gave us 86.
I know, but what are you asking?
I'm asking for additional 4,500.
You want 13 total?
So I want 13.
13,000, okay. Thank you.
We'll give you a little historic data. I happen to know the winner of the first lizard race ever held in Lovington, New Mexico.
Who was? Was it
You're
you?
staring at.
Oh.
Shows a little age here, yeah.
Stuff like that.
Why, he always sticking his tongue out?
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
I had to think about it, I was like, it was 50. All right. Anyone else? No one's moving. All right, we're moving on. Non-action items.
Oh. Who's not prepared?
Yeah, it's out there. You'll need to call him.
Oh. I was looking for him, I didn't see him here.
Yeah, he was standing right there.
Okay. I wasn't.
Yeah, I know Joe. I don't blame him.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening. How's the city commission?
Good. Oh, not too bad.
Not too bad.
For the, I didn't say anything till we got you in here, but anyway, for the publics, this will be an update on the submission for our audit for the fiscal year 24. So, Mr. Fierro, I'm assuming they're just going to give you the floor and just run with it.
Okay. Well, back in January, the city manager contacted me and asked if I'd be available to assist the city. There was going to be some transition within the finance department. And I said I would, but you know, I was under the impression that it would be kind of just real quick, just figure it out until you moved on to your next situation. But that's not the case. There's some serious accounting issues within the municipality. First of all, the audit, we really can't, in a public meeting, we can't talk about the audit specifically of what's going on. The audit report was due on December 16th. It hasn't been submitted as of yet. Your auditors from Albuquerque contacted us once that David introduced us to them in February. I was told that there was just one or two things lacking for the audit. And then once I got the list from the auditors, turns out that one or two things is more like 20 items. And the most serious one is the capital assets. There's some work that needs, substantial work that needs to be done on the capital assets. As an auditor, as a CPA, it's my opinion right now, as I look at it, the city's not ready to be audited for fiscal year 24. There's still a lot of work that has to be done in that area. The first week that I came aboard, I thought it was going to be pretty straightforward as far as with the audit part of it. So I spent the entire week working on the audit. And then after talking to the city manager, he said, maybe we should concentrate on getting the accounting records caught up for fiscal year 25, which is the current fiscal year. Where you are in the current fiscal year is the banks haven't been reconciled since October of 24. So you're behind since October. A bank reconciliation, if the accounting's done right, a bank reconciliation should take maybe 2 hours. I've already spent about 6 or 7 days on it, and I can't quite get it. I'm getting close. I don't want to, since we're in a public meeting and it deals with personnel, my comments are directed towards the city's finance department, not to a particular person within the department. One of the things that an auditor has to do when they're going to audit an entity is to make sure that there's proper SKI within the organization. SKI, skill, knowledge, experience. You have to have skill, knowledge, and experience to be able to, within the entity, to be able to express an opinion on financial statements. In my opinion, there's not that present right now. And there hasn't been since I left helping the accountant. When I looked at the bank statement, the reconciliation that hadn't been done for October, one thing that kind of alerted me that something was seriously wrong with the reconciliation was there was an outstanding payroll or a PERA liability of almost $50,000 from December of 2023. Now, as an auditor, as an accountant, I'm saying, okay, one of two things happened. Either the city did not pay that $50,000, or there's an error in the accounting records. And so my conversations with the staff led me to believe there's probably an error within the accounting records. What's concerning to me is that the finance department didn't address the issue and fix the error immediately. They just kept rolling the error forward. Okay, so that's one issue. That's still out there pending. When I'm working on October bank reconciliation, I noticed that there's some amounts due United Healthcare for health insurance. And the bank reconciliation shows that there's almost $500,000 outstanding to United Healthcare. And so I asked Shannon this morning, I said, is it possible you could be that far behind? And she said, well, I don't think so, because they would have cut us off, or there would have been. So, and then conversing with the city manager, conversing with the staff, around that time, the finance department was getting behind on their payroll in October and making payments on a timely basis. So as far as the United Healthcare, the insurance. So what the city did is they decided we're going to make electronic payments to the vendor. So we're just gonna, instead of writing a check, because by the time we write a check, and then it US mail, and it could get lost, let's just make a payment directly to the vendor electronically. Well, there was a lack of communication within the accounting software to tell it those payments had been made. So the computer system is generating this liability and it's holding it here. And on the other hand, somebody is making a payment directly to United Healthcare, and there's no communication between the two. Then what happens in October, someone decides, takes a look at it and says, well, we made these payments, so let's go ahead and finish the transaction. So they recorded the transaction, and now all of a sudden, if you look at the bank reconciliation, there's almost $477,000 of outstanding checks, or what they think is outstanding checks. And then, again, it's an error in the accounting software, the accounting. So you have that payroll, the PRA, United Healthcare. There was a deposit made in August. Sometimes Lee County State Bank kind of, be careful, kind of they're not very cautious on the way they transact things. And so it turns out that Main Street made a deposit of $19,000, and it went into the city's accounts. And then I guess Main Street realized they didn't have their money. So then the city, so now I'm working on the October, and all of a sudden I see this charge of $19,000 coming back out of to the city's accounts, and I guess they put it back in Main Street's accounts. Well, so I'm having a little difficulty say, okay, well, the finance department in August somehow had to account for that $19,000 in there somewhere. And I can't figure out how the finance department did that. So now I gotta try to get it to the other side so that the October, in other words, it's gotta wash out. It's not not revenue or expenditures due. The city is behind on its DFA reporting. You're supposed to report every quarter. You can't report if the, I recall when we did, when I helped the municipality with June of '23, bank reconciliations, accounting and everything. The individual who assisted the city with the DFA reports, I remember the comment he made to me is, Ed, this is kind of strange, everything ties out, it all works. And I said, oh yeah, because it's all reconciled, it works properly. So in other words, what I'm saying is you have to have it reconciled. So we can't submit the DFA report until it's all reconciled. The biggest problem, again, I'm not talking about any particular person, is there's no leadership within the finance department. There's not an accountant that understands what needs to be done. There's no reconciliations going on. Everybody, nowadays we think, just put it in the computer and it's going to work its way out. It's still, you can put it in the computer, but errors happen. If I give an example in there, there was a check for the month of October, or there was a deposit came in to the city, $163,000. And DFA, when they write check, when they deposit money in, they'll send like a paper, almost like a check, but it's not quite a check. And it kind of helps, it identifies on there the line item, you know, like if it's capital outlay or whatever. Okay. Well, the finance department, when they got this 163, they made a little note on their fire protection fund. So then, working with the staff, I said, will you please call Skip? Because I'm not sure because the fire protection fund is money set aside for particular reasons related to the finance department, fire department. And there's restrictions on how you can spend that money. And you get some at the beginning of the year and you get some towards the end of the year. They split the payment in half. Well, it turns out that this particular check was not fire protection money. It has something to do with something else within the city. So we definitely don't want to record in the finance or in the fire department. Then further looking at the fire department, I saw an amount there for a fire retention grant or amount. And that money had been put in the fire protection fund. But that money does not belong to fire protection, it belongs in the general fund. Because in the fire protection fund, you can't use money for employees. That's for equipment and it's to supplement them. So the city's not in a good shape right now as far as its accounting. The DFA reports need to be done, get caught up. So so its most immediate needs is the October, November, and December got to be reconciled. Then once they're reconciled, everything makes sense, then the DFA report can start being worked on. But we're already in March, and so then that's January, February, March, and the DFA report is due on April 30th for this quarter. So it's gonna happen real fast.
Ed, can I interrupt you real quick? I just want to know the time frame and your plan to getting us back to square one. I understand there's a lot of issues we do have, but I personally want to know when we're going to get back to square one, to where we're supposed to be at. What is the time frame? And also, what's your plan to get us there?
Well, I'm right in the middle of tax season. I should be working on a tax return right now. And I'm kind of juggling between income tax and my regular accounting job and everything. What needs to be done, what's most important, is that it needs to, this morning I met with the city manager. I said it would be really nice if we could have by the end of March, have December reconciled. So kind of tentatively hopeful that that's gonna happen. I'm not sure. Before I answer your questions, I need the council to understand something. Is that I heard a minute ago when I was waiting to come in, talk about a finance person, hire a finance director. My concern is you can't just hire an accountant or a bookkeeper who really doesn't understand how to develop a department, how to implement what needs to be done. What has happened I think David, Mr. Miranda made a comment that the local paper had 5 directors in X 3 years or whatever the amount is. What has happened is a lot of bad things have just crept in. Everybody in the finance department they just do things well because that's how we did it yesterday, or that's how we did it the day before. And what's the problem is that you're not current, and a lot of things are just being dumped into your account, and it makes it very difficult to 3 or 4 months later trying to figure out, well, what is this? Where did it come from? Nowadays, you get a lot of electronic transfers going into your account from various sources. Like, for example, the ambulance receipts. they're just all these insurance payments, just all this money coming in. Or maybe Shannon is taking money for clerk fees, and the libraries, everybody's got these cards and they just push, and all this money's being pushed in there, and no one's really keeping track and say, well, where is this? Where does it go? Who does it belong to? And so before I answer the question, is the council needs to understand that it's not just so much finding a person to sit in that finance director's chair who maybe who's an accountant or a bookkeeper. They also have to have, what are we going to do to establish procedures to operate correctly as required by the state of New Mexico and by your particular. For example, I know that Commissioner Bolt is concerned with the franchise fees from Lee County Electric within the recreation fund. Well, I looked at it just a little while ago, and within that one line item, I see like there was New Mexico gas. They had a franchise fee, and that money was incorrectly, instead of going to the general fund, was put into that franchise. So it's just been real poor accounting, and just, oh well, just put it there. We don't know. The plan is just to try to get it caught up. Idealistically, what I would like to see happen is David hires somebody, and I get them all caught up through December, and then the new person comes in and starts working on this next quarter and gets them caught up. And then you're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna get your audit done, because that person is gonna have to make sure to stay current. So you're gonna have to hire somebody to help you get your audit, get ready for your audit in the proper manner. That's kind of like, I don't have really a particular plan. I would just like to, the most important pressing issue right now is to get DFA, because there was an email that came in on Friday. I got a chuckle because the city manager and one of the finance department personnel, the finance department, DFA, the new budget analyst, sent an email and said, here's how you do your budget, your DFA report, a little video or whatever. And so the response by the city was, thank you. But within that email, they also said, when are you gonna send us your report? And there was silence on that part of it. They want to know. They need to know. So it's some serious issues. You just got behind, and it's hard to catch up. It's really hard. Look, for example, I think, Melissa, we printed out on 217, the recreation fund, on what Commissioner Bolt was concerned about. I noticed in there, by looking at the revenues, that the franchise fee is not recorded since like December or something like that. So that's telling me the accounting is not caught up to that. So,
Ed, I have a quick question, if you don't
Yes,
mind.
sir.
I don't remember, when did you kind of finish with us previous to this, us calling you back? I can't remember, it was beginning of last year?
Well, we finished with the fiscal year 23 audit.
Bless you.
And
Which would have been December-ish.
right, and I believe I had the accounting reconciled up to like September, October of '23, right around there. Because then I was finishing up the accounting, the audit for fiscal year '23.
And it's only at the on-time audit.
Right, it was submitted on time.
So basically in 9 months-ish, we kind of reverted back to where we were the year before, yeah.
Yeah, if you look at the October bank reconciliation, what I'm looking at, some of the entries are dated January of '25. So what that tells me is that work was trying to get done like 4 months later. Excuse me. Rather than staying current. I can't overemphasize, you just have to stay current. There has to be almost like a spreadsheet or a worksheet that says, okay, today we deposited X amount of dollars, and then somebody has to go in there and look in the bank statement and say, oh, look, yesterday we had a transaction came in from the state of New Mexico. Now let's figure out what that state of the transaction is. And and so we can get it recorded properly. You just can't overemphasize that. It has to be kept current. I don't know, I don't have a good answer for you.
No, thank you.
We realized that you really did not want to do this publicly because it's sensitive, and I understand that.
Right.
And it's a lot, obviously.
Right.
What do we do well?
What do you do well in the
Man, talk about putting somebody on the spot.
Well, hey, we're looking at what we don't do well.
They keep the city hall real nice and clean. No,
But going back to the DFA reports, I mean, that is a plus. But so you're looking at, that's what usually catches up to December, so we figure we're gonna be 1 quarter behind after you let us go again, right? Is that what you just stated?
2 quarters.
I didn't really say I'd let you go. It's just that I'm trying to, as quickly as possible, get caught up through December so I can turn my focus. And maybe in the interim, you guys find somebody and they can start working on that. And then you have to start addressing the issue of the audit. The audit, I'm kind of surprised that the state auditor hasn't started asking where is their audit. Because there's a requirement in the rule that you have to keep them abreast of what's going on.
We've sent several emails.
To the audit,
Yes.
and with notice.
No.
With notice.
Well, we thank you for coming on board again. I told Dave before this meeting, I said, I just feel comfortable when you're there because you got our last audit on time. You got us out of that big mess, and then you got our audit on time, and we were all in it. I mean, I felt good at the time, and I just felt that was it. We got that behind us, but here it is, less than a year later, we're back to that same nightmare. And maybe we'll do it right this next time with new staff.
Well, it really, you have to set up procedures. It's kind of like the police department. They have within their department, they have ways they manage their department. The fire department, they have ways they manage their department. There's not really, in the accounting department, there's not really any rules or how we're gonna reconcile by the 10th of the month, or we're going to record by the end of the week, we're gonna record all transactions that occurred in this week. We're gonna reconcile. The issue is, like, for example, you got the payroll person doing all her activity, and then you gotta put that, it all goes into the general ledger. Well, somebody has to be looking over it and say, okay, does this make sense? Did we pay did we pay the IRS on time? Did we pay United Healthcare on time? Did we pay all the vendors, all our payroll liabilities associated with that payroll? Did we pay that on time? And if so, are those accounts cleared back to zero? If they're not, then, because there's no excuse for not paying your bills because you have the money. It's not like you're a business trying to manage between cash flow and everything else. It's a good opportunity. I'm here. I made a special trip to meet with you so that, because I understand also that some of the commission was, council was saying, well, we don't have information. Well, right now, there's just not good information. I wouldn't rely on those reports because I don't think that they're well, I know they're not current. They're not accurate. I see obvious mistakes within the records.
No, I appreciate the reports. I gotta say that. Thank you very much, because this is the first information that we've had in a long time. I got 2 pages of questions to go along with the reports, but I'm not gonna be asking these questions. I wanna give these to you, and you can talk to Ed, you can talk to David, you can get the answers, distribute these to other commissioners so they see what questions I asked. Maybe they have questions themselves that they wanna ask too. But I wrote mine out, so I'd appreciate it if you got together and answer these questions so I know some of my questions. I have more, but I did 2 pages. I figured that was good for right now. So.
If I may add one thing, I think it's important to note that unlike 2 or 3 years ago, the city is in a healthy position financially. But as Ed said, the problems are procedural in nature. We need to get the right personnel in the right places and then establish those procedures, get cleaned up, and then carry them forward. So it's not that the city's in a poor financial situation. It's just we need to work on our procedures and how to implement them within the department.
Well, with no data, it's hard to tell that.
I understand that.
I've asked numerous times, data. We need it. To make accurate, good decisions, you need up-to-date information. Without that, you can't.
I can empathize with you. As someone who looks at the bank balance every single day, I would love clarification on the numbers as well. But I can tell you that in terms of GRTs, in terms of enterprise fund billing, we are in a healthy position. But we need to see that reflected in accurate numbers. I agree 100% with you.
Well, the issue too becomes, overall, you've got cash in the bank, but maybe in particular funds or particular areas you're overspending, and you need to adjust your budget. Or maybe you got a grant, $1 million come in. The council hasn't been presented an amendment to say, okay, we're received an additional $1 million. Now this is how we intend to spend it. Let's amend our budget, send that to Santa Fe. And those are the things that become important as you're managing, as they manage, and they can see what's going on.
Not to mention that we're coming up on a new budget year that we need to plan for.
I would like to recommend that when the review board looks at the candidates, to find 2 good ones. And possibly, we're back to square one. So it's not like we've gotten anywhere. So maybe we need new set of minds in that department and a new beginning. Because I'm not gonna go back to this situation again.
It's early in the recruitment process, but I will say this, so far, and I'm going to attribute it to the higher salary range. Since I was involved in the last selection process, the two that are promising are of a higher caliber, at least on paper, than last time around. So I think by offering that higher salary range, we're attracting a higher caliber of qualified persons. We'll see.
We gotta get it right this time.
We'll fix it.
Anything further, Ed? Since you,
Well, let me see my notes real quick.
yeah, there you go.
So we talked about the audit, the problems with the pooled cash account, the operating, reconciling, the bank. The DFA reports are behind. Just the general state of the department. There's a lack of proper leadership within the department. Proper procedures are not established. Reconciliation between the subsidiary ledgers and the general ledger is not occurring. What you're saying, you asked what we're doing well. You are, although there were some problems with some vendors not being paid on time, overall the vendors are being paid. And just the electronic transfers just become cumbersome, and that's where like a finance director who can manage it says, well, maybe all the ambulance receipts need to go into one particular bank account instead of being commingled with just the big overall account. So you have to look at these things.
If you had a game plan, what would you immediately start with?
Me, myself.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Other than the obvious, yes.
I try to get that DFA satisfied, so get them off, get them happy up in Santa Fe. That's to me, that's most important. And then obviously you've got to start working on getting back current with DFA. And then you got to start working the audit, getting up. Some of the things that first week I was here, I asked the staff to create certain schedules, AP and stuff like that. So that has to be verified and checked and everything. If I was standing back and looking at it, I would say that what the municipality needs to do, besides hiring a good person, is perhaps go out for an RFP for a CPA firm to help you with establish a proper procedures and help you manage the audit. Because and I think more and more entities within the state of New Mexico are finding this to be true, that they don't have the expertise to be able to recognize within an audit report if something's wrong, that they're more concerned with the day-to-day activity. And so you need that oversight or somebody consulting with you, helping you get ready for the audit, writing the financial statements, whatever needs to be done. So it's a two-pronged approach. You got to get everything caught up, the accounting, the DFA report, adjusting the ledgers, and then finish up what needs to be done on the audit. I think there needs to be a face-to-face meeting with your auditor and say exactly, I need to know exactly what needs to be done so that we can start moving this forward. But right now, it's just time constraints because of the other stuff that's going on. You know, it's like if you're designing, you're doing a major road or you're doing infrastructure, you don't have in-house expertise, the engineering and stuff, so you go out and you contract it. Some of this other accounting expertise, you may need to contract that.
That's probably the best point right there. So I'm going to apply this to our road construction. Because our accounting department, finance department, whatever, this department that we have, we still have the same problem we had back then. So until we can get caught up, but until we fix the root problem here, we're not going to move forward anywhere.
Which is
so that's what's been wrong with our street project is we didn't have a good plan to start with, and they've been going along dealing with the odds and ends, the day-to-days. Oh, the water line's here, not there. This is here. I'll just shove that. The county shove this here, shove that there. Till we come up with a firm, solid. This is what this does. This is the procedure and steps that we have. We're never going to succeed. We're going to have this repeat itself time and time and time again. So until we can develop a
SOP.
A standard operating procedure, or
well, you could call it that, but until we develop what is the word they use? I can't think of the word. But until your standard operating procedure, we'll just use that, until that becomes the core of that department, that they know this is the step we have to take before we take this step, we're never going to go anywhere, you know. And until we get people in there that are either trained or have the whatever it is, the ski, we're just going to keep stumbling over. And it won't matter who we hire or how great they are, how much money we throw at them, the root core is going to be down here, not up here. So,
and the oversight needs to go to someone like Ed or another firm that has the knowledge to see it quicker than this board or anybody else could see it. And that's the oversight is what we've been, maybe that's what we liked this last time. We thought we had the right personnel, but we didn't have oversight. David was new, Mr. Miranda was new, but he don't have the accounting skills what Ed has. And maybe if we would have took that approach and continued on board with an oversight, we probably wouldn't be in this situation right now.
you need to have a strong accounting procedures manual.
Right.
You don't have any, there's not any guidelines except somebody telling somebody else, let's do it this way, record it this way. I'll get a question, well, what account do we put it in? Well, within the accounting manual, it says any receipts received from this organization goes into this account, boom. And then this way, when your auditors come in, it says, according to your procedures, you're supposed to be doing this. Why aren't you doing this? Then the board knows we've established an accounting procedures manual. We've adopted it. We expect this finance person or the finance department to follow that procedures, those procedures. And if they're not, the auditors are going to tell us. And then you can take the action that you need to take. And within the manual, it may say, we need, by the second board meeting of the month, we need to present X amount of financial statements to the board so that they can see where their money is being spent. That has to be within the manual, within the procedures.
Have a safe trip. Thank you.
Thank you for coming this evening, sir. All right. Before we move on, any discussion? Basically, we're not going to find Superman.
No, but basically, maybe as a commission, we didn't realize what we were overlooking.
Yeah.
So now we need to figure out where we can find that resource to have that manual, or at least have a plan of a manual, because you guys have a basic step-by-step, you brush your teeth, you put your socks on, you run through the firehouse naked, then you put your suit on, whatever that be, you know. And so we need something like that. I don't figure that's how that goes, is it? Yeah, okay.
So would I.
But so we need that step-by-step procedure and we need to figure out where we can get that from, whether that be a CPA firm or, you know, that's not gonna be something we can develop in-house. You know, we're gonna have to have some oversight of some sort.
Right, you need checks and balances.
And so we'll just have to figure out what that plan is, and I guess we'll have to encourage Mr. Randa to see if he can find us some resources or something of that.
Excuse me, have you heard of Royal Camp? Of course, it's my favorite game.
So, that being said, that's the only thing I can see, is we've got to find a system that says, this check goes here, this check goes here, this goes here. And like you said, that way our balances, then we have some oversight committee, make sure some debts go through. And then, you know, then our finance person can put all this together for the auditors, and voila, problem. What is the deal with that
It's
thing?
those names.
We're gonna cut the trees down out in the lobby. That's all. I know, and I agree. What we're doing is not right, so we're not gonna go back and recreate that, or redo that, so.
And we need to be able to have the next person that comes into our facility.
One of the things that I proposed then, and I think we need to, first of all, we're not gonna dump it on Mr. Rand and just say, it's your baby. I think we need to create a group that can assist just finding these resources, or whatever we do. I mean, I don't have it, I do, but she has a job, so.
Understand, but even there's resources there's information. There's people outside there that develop this stuff, you know, I would assume. So, and that's just where we need to look. Okay, so we got better tools at our disposal.
Mr. Miranda, what's your thought process right now?
I like what Mr. Fierro said about putting an RFP out for some CPA oversight, maybe establish some procedures, but that's going to be done in conjunction with the new finance director, knock on wood, you know, when they come aboard. But there needs to be a system in place that outlasts all of us.
We've got a long road ahead of us. Anything further before we move on? Hearing none. All right, next again.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2025-022, approved animal shelter mobile home bid, Eagle Towing and Recovery / Carrie Jeter.
Second.
Okay, motion second. Consideration of this resolution.
So Carrie Jeter came in at the highest bid with $8,025. We had 3 other bidders as well, but they were lower. I don't know if you want to know the bid amount.
Just with the highest bidder, that's all we need to know.
Yeah. This was $8,025.
So you're gonna move it out tomorrow?
Any further discussion? All right, and I think you added him in.
Yes,
as-
sir.
All right,
Did it right the first time.
there you go. Shannon?
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2025-023, approve lodger's tax request for fiscal year 2025, fourth quarter. Do I need to add?
Do you want to add that,
We got a
or do you want to have discussion?
We'll probably have an amendment.
Yeah, that's what, okay.
I think that'd be the easiest.
All right. well, I will-
Motion and a second for consideration of this resolution. All right, Mr. Miranda.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I was at last week's lodgers tax meeting. Before the meeting, Melissa and I did get with Ed, and the cash balance for lodger's tax as of the week before was $96,215.83. We generally, the lodger's tax is charged $18,750 per quarter, so I think there's a little room. I did receive some petitions from a couple of entities. Claire was one of them. She got up, today. I think she had asked for $29,000, but I think there's a little room where we can make some adjustments to kind of bring everybody at least near or above 10,000, and still have the lodger's tax fund be able to cover the final fiscal quarter going into the new fiscal year. I put some recommendations in front of you, but I don't know, if you have further consideration after hearing from the chamber tonight, but it kind of shows you what we would be left with after the next quarter funding.
Okay, my question, if we make some adjustments right here, is there any major projects going on with the chamber, EDC, or anything after this next quarter that, because if we deplenish an extra 10,000 off this, will leave us about probably roughly less than 10,000. And I'm just saying, do we have any major projects that are coming on top of that?
Not that I'm aware of. This is typically the biggest ask of the year because of all these special events. You have Cinco de Mayo, you have the party in the park, you have smoking on the plaza, you have this unique event about the theater reopening, and then of course you have Fair Rodeo. So this is the busiest.
When is your roping thing, Evelyn?
Well, we also have in September, we'll have Fiestas de Septiembre, so we
Right.
ask for twice a year, so we'll ask for Cinco de Mayo and next quarter we'll ask for Fiestas de Septiembre.
And what are we averaging quarterly off revenue? Because about it, that'll have.
I'd have to ask Melissa.
I'm just saying, Evelyn, how much would you be asking for then, is what I'm.
We always ask for 15, but we always get about 12.
Because after tonight, we may only end up with 9 left in the pot.
No.
And-
No,
Well, I'm just saying, if you make all these changes right here.
15,700.
Because Evelyn, Claire had asked for additional 4,500.
Well, we had factored in giving her an additional 3,000, so it'd be 1,500 more.
And there is no line item in here that has the next quarter's funding. We're funding forward, so you're gonna be getting money in, so this is the expense. And then we're gonna get in whatever it comes in the quarter. We would be, crystal ball in that. So this number is gonna go up, no matter what you start here, this number is gonna go up by whatever the average, at least the average of the quarters are.
So to kind of summarize, if we gave Chamber an extra $4,000, if we gave the county their ask of $8,750 and funded next quarter, we'd still be left with about 15,000 in the account going into the new fiscal year in July.
Okay, instead of 10, you're looking at 15. Okay.
15. And that's assuming no income in the next 3 months, which is unrealistic.
Yeah, that's
Okay, I'm just kind of getting confused off with all the changes you guys made on this.
Can I say something? The county is going to be taking care of the Fair and Rodeo Parade, so the chamber will not be asking in any money in the next quarter.
You'll have Halloween?
And I forgot to mention, we increased the EDC by 3,000.
Oh. That's pretty good. I didn't even think about it.
Go ahead, Mariah.
No.
Okay. Since you've been intricately involved in this, why don't you kind of give your recommendation? And, I know but we've kind of adjusted it. So if you can kind of give us an idea, we can all write down what you're suggesting, and then we can go from there.
Okay, so for the junior rodeo, there's 2 events of 5,000 each. That stays the same.
Okay.
For the EDC Cinco de Mayo, we would take that to 10,300.
Okay.
For the party in the park, we would take that to 12,900.
Okay.
Main Street, the two events, Smoking on the Plaza stays at 10,000. The theater open stays at 9,665. The junior high and senior high school rodeo finals for the county, that goes to $8,750.
Okay.
And I believe that will make a total allocation of $61,615. But I'll check.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be my recommendation.
All right.
So is all that going to be used for advertising?
Some of it is to pay for in the Lee County Fair and Rodeo Junior and Senior High School Rodeo Finals. That is final selections cost. That is to bring people into town to spend money. People that would come to see that. Obviously, the contestants stay inside the fairgrounds and eat in the fairgrounds. But I think it's safe to say that the events, by bringing them here and having the event here, will attract outside people that would contribute to our GRTs.
Any other discussion? Okay. Mr. Gain.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a amendment to Resolution 2025-023, approved lodger's tax request fiscal year 2025, fourth quarter.
If you want to just say to reflect his recommendation, unless you want to change, alter his recommendation.
No, I was just gonna say we were gonna
You're going to do it.
yeah, keep the High Plains Junior High rodeo at 10,000, Smoking on the Plaza at 10,000, the Lee Theater reopening at 9,665, party at the park.
See, this is their recommendation, we're changing it to
12.9.
because this is what their meeting decided to do. So
That's, yeah, I'm trying to make sure I got my notes right. So where was that at?
Party in the Park.
Party in the Park.
12,000.
That was 12,900. The Cinco de Mayo is 10,300. And the county junior high, senior high school rodeo finals at $8,750 for a grand total of, did you say 61 or 60?
61.
61, 615.
Okay.
People better go buy a
I'm waiting.
hotel.
I'll second, but on the resolution 2025-023, second sentence, whereas utilization of these funds can be used to advertise, publicize, and support is incorrect. It's supposed to be promote events. That needs to be changed, taken out.
This is on the paperwork itself?
The resolution.
On the resolution?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will rewrite that.
Better
And out of
original-
support,
I got
it needs
an
to-
original ordinance right here.
Okay, it needs to be promoted. Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Shannon?
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt?
No.
Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy?
Yes. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2025-24, approve RFP 2025-07, sale of property at 2320 South Main.
For the amount of what?
Says the amount of $25,000. One bid was received from Petey's Brew and Barbecue. Bid met requirements of the RFP.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Consideration of this resolution. City Manager.
This one is Crystal.
Oh, okay.
Mayor and Commissioners, so we did have one bid come in. It was Stevie's Brew and Barbecue. He met all requirements in the RFP. Scoring was done. Scored the highest points possible. It was 300 points possible. He scored 300 on the scoring from the committee that did the scoring. You have the packet, the plan.
Right.
Any questions for me?
Question? Everybody shaking their head no? All right. Shannon?
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe.
Yes.
All right, Ms. White?
I'd like a motion, make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion second, pay the Oh, whenever you're ready, sir.
I just have one question. Vendor 14820, page 6, Premier Waterworks Incorporated. It says wastewater installed valve for high school.
I saw that too, sir. I don't think Robert's here. It's obviously, it's on our side.
And that's, I just wanted to make
No,
sure
it's
that.
looking out, yes, sir.
Right.
I can get more information about that, but I remember Robert talking about it when it happened.
Okay.
So it's not.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure on that. Yeah, if you could get that information for me, that was the only one that I had.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Again, still looking.
Hey,
No, you're good. I got one question. Absolutely.
It's just, I don't remember seeing this in here before. The Eversol?
That's our SCADA.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, all right, just like I said, it didn't ring a bell.
The seniors are her cameras.
Took it home, and videos.
That was, I think, on that side, right? IT branches.
Yeah, I would say.
You got 24 new cameras.
All right.
Who was it?
Hearing no further discussion or questions? Shannon?
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe,
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
With that, the items of the agenda are exhausted. We are adjourned.
I just want to.
No, it's got some laugh.
Hey, I've had a whole day.